Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
In the garden. Does anyone wanna go dance up on the roof? Does anyone wanna go waltzing in the garden?
Everybody, welcome to Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by the Intertalk Radio Network. Hey, everybody, it's a beautiful Friday here in Southern California, July the 15th. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. I'm proud and I'm privileged. In fact, I'm actually beside myself with joy. You know, I've been blessed to work with the who's who in the industry over the years. But I got to tell you, I'm a fanboy of my in-studio guest today. I've been a fan of this man. I don't even want to age myself or age Mr. Jarreau. Guys, I want everybody right now, I'm going to cut right to the choice. I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears my in-studio guest, the legendary, iconic jazz singer, Mr. Al Jarreau. Al, welcome to Jackie's Groove, my friend.
Oh, wow. Great, man. Great to be here. My goodness, working from home.
From your lips to God's ears, brother. Absolutely. You guys, you know, the listeners, what we're here to do is we're here to promote Mr. Jarreau is in concert tomorrow, July the 16th, in Temecula at the Thornton Winery Jazz Series. I have a feeling there's no tickets left, but you definitely want to go on to Thornton Winery Jazz or Thornton Winery to see if there's any tickets. You don't want to miss this concert with Mr. Al Lopez and Jarreau.
People have been filling you in.
Absolutely. He's gonna do what he does best, and that's entertain the masses. So do yourselves a favor. So today, on today's interview, we're going to cut right through the chase of it. Again, too, I know all about Mr. Al Jarreau, but personally I don't know him that well. So we're gonna touch on a few different situations. And like, Al, let's cut right to the point. I know you were born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You were born on March the 12th. I'm not going to give the year away because I'm not going to, you're not supposed to ask anybody their age.
Well, that's fine with me, but I don't hide my age.
You're 25 now, am I correct?
Yes, I'm a wonderful 25 plus, what is that?
Yeah,
well, I'm 76.
God bless your heart.
76.
And may you have many, many, many more healthy years ahead of us, my friend.
I'm doing pretty good. A few little aches and pains, but that's all right.
Who
Thank
doesn't?
you, Father. Thank you, Father, for this day. Thank you, Father, for the way you taught me how to say, thank you, Father, for this day.
Absolutely. And I always say, Al, every day above ground, and if you wake up and there's no dirt on top of you, we did the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's a wonderful thing. That's right.
Hey, Al, let's talk about something here, which I thought it was pretty amazing. You know, your background. Your father was a minister and also a singer in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Mm-hmm. Do you want to fill us on and how influential he was in your singing career starting out?
Well, my dad was a wonderful minister and preacher. I hear.
Right.
By the time I came along, he was out of the ministry and went through a really tough, heartbreaking breakup with the church in Milwaukee, and so I only knew him as a foundry worker, a welder, coming home with welding spark marks all over his chest and arms. But he preached at home. In fact, they called him preacher on the job because he was preaching all the time. And so I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. My mother was organist, pianist, and right. I sat next to her on the piano bitch, and she kept me from falling over. But yeah, that was my background, the church, and so I think it's been important in my music, you know, those references.
Now, this was about 1960, 68 area, correct me if I'm wrong?
In Milwaukee,
yes,
growing up?
Yeah, when you really started getting involved with the music itself.
Well, no, since 4 years old, involved with the music.
Okay.
Since 4 years old, singing music on the street with other guys. Doom, 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 ba, ba, doom, doom, doom. I love you. Hey, doo-wop on the corner, man.
Absolutely, man. That's
doo-wop on the corner. So it began it really began when I was 13, 14 years old, that I was singing outside of the church and singing on the street corner and singing the music of the day with 3 or 4 other guys. And about that same time,
right,
because of my older brother's influence, and they sang jazz music in the living room while I was a kid,
wow,
I began to have an interest in A Foggy Day in London Town, and began to sing that kind of music with little trios from high school over at the Jewish Center in Milwaukee. It was a wonderful time for me. So, and when I was starting to branch out and do music out of the house and out of the church.
Did you know this is what you wanted? Was this your calling at that age? Did you know this is something you wanted to do? Could you even foresee the fact that your career would be where it's at today back then?
Well, it was a dream, and I dreamed hard and dreamed long, thought about it day and night, sang it whenever I could, sang for free, and kept on marching ahead and swimming upstream, because the music that I was doing was not, rock and roll of the day. And so I sang wherever I could, and there's a lot of in-betweens, but 1975 was when I did the first record for Warner Brothers. Yeah.
And the thing about 1975, people don't realize this. I didn't realize this. Again, getting my background here, that you had the ability and the honor with Mr. Peter Boyle on Saturday Night Live in 1975. Do you remember that performance?
Oh boy, I don't remember exactly the performance, but man, Peter Boyle was part of the committee workshop in San Francisco. And I saw Peter often as an actor doing improv on stage with a guy who was my guitarist. This guitarist also did improv with the workshop in San Francisco, and that was a very important little step in my life and career, working with Julio Martinez, who does public radio now in San Francisco, an announcer, and he reviews theater. So wonderful things that I dreamed about, with perchance things along the way that were also part of the dream that I didn't recognize were just what I needed at the moment, but took the opportunity, and lo and behold.
You know what's so amazing, Al, and is that Joe, your manager of 30 years, sent me a list of songs. He said, I know you like to choose the songs that your favorite songs, but we'd like to have you do us a favor. And I said, absolutely, sir. He said, Al has got 8 songs that really mean a lot to him, that really not only has it hits, but at the same time, too, each one of these songs had a significant meaning to Al in his life. And I'm going to go through the songs. We started out at the beginning of it, the song, one of my favorites, called Rooftop. What was your motivation about that song when you wrote that song? What was your whole inclination when you wrote that song? What was it about? What were you feeling at that time?
I heard this sound in my head that was kind of like a voice being a wah-wah guitar.
Okay.
And at that time, my wife was doing dance club promotions.
Oh, very cool.
And there's a variety arts building, which was an old vaudeville theater, which still stands there downtown on 4th and something or another.
God bless.
Across from the Pantry in Los Angeles. I think the place is called the Pantry.
Okay.
Anyhow, a wonderful building, and she and her partners had this dance club one night a week on the roof, and it was called the Roof Garden. Deco building, wonderful deco building. So all of that came together in, does anyone want to go waltzing in the garden? Does anyone want to go dance up on the roof?
Oh, yeah, man.
And George Duke came in and wrote and helped write that song and wrote bridges and stuff for it.
God bless Mr. Duke. You know, it's just
What a guy.
It's amazing because that's one of my favorite songs. I just love the whole vibe of that. The video, the original of the studio video of the official video, I should say, of this song. Just the look on your face of the joy of actually putting that song out. And again, too, this is in the mid '80s. That's one of my favorite songs that we heard. And just like, how could you not imitate Mr. Jarreau in his vocalese on that song? You know, other songs that we had coming up here that I absolutely love, and I wrote these down, songs like, and we'll talk about each one of these songs as we come in, songs like Mornin', songs like Waltz for Debbie, Roof Garden, we just talked about. One of my favorites, Boogie Down.
Yeah.
One of the funkiest tunes. In fact, this just the look on you with that scarf around your neck, and you kind of getting that vibe going. After All. You know, and Mas Que Nada, which has been recorded by the best, Sergio Mendes, Tanya Maria. You killed that tune, and I know you love Brazilian music, and it shows in your vibes.
Love Brazilian music,
and so we're going to sit there. We're going to trail off on this segment right now, Al. We're going to go out of segment number 1. We're going to segment number 2, and we're going to pick up where we left off on songs that inspire Mr. Al Jarreau. Once again, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, Intertalk Radio. Guys, don't go anywhere. I'm sitting here with the iconic Mr. Al Jarreau. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Yes, my brother. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove on their Talk Radio Network. I'm sitting here with a legend, a living legend right now. I'm going to patronize you all day long, my brother. Trust me. Everybody, welcome back with open arms and open ears, Mr. Al Jarreau. Al.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, man, after all of these years, brother, we're finally sitting down.
Hey, that's a wonderful thing that that we get to meet at this point in our lives and careers, you know, a few years down the road that we get to meet, and we're still, you know, doing it. I'm loving that. You mentioned some guys that were mutual friends,
yes,
and I know they wake up every morning going, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, too. Well, stand behind me. You're behind me. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Still doing it, just like you.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man.
I got to tell you, my wife and I this weekend, one of our favorite songs growing up, we're going on 33 years of marriage this year. One of our favorite songs by you has been, it reaches into my heartstrings and it tugs on them. A great song called Alonzo.
My.
And that song is just the changes. Alonzo declared, I mean, it's just that vibe and the fade out at the end. There's never been another song recorded like that. And actually a good friend of mine, Jimmy Felber, also wrote a song that you covered called Golden Girl.
Oh, yeah, great song.
Yes,
oh.
And these are songs that we didn't bring on, but Golden Girl, Across the Midnight Sky.
Oh, Across the Midnight Sky. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And
you're bringing up things that are just such sweet memories for me. Not every day.
Right.
Everybody goes, you know what, Al, Across the Midnight Sky. You know what, Al?
Right.
Golden Girl. Keep on shining, Golden Girl.
Oh, yeah. Light a candle for the world.
Light a candle for the world.
Yeah, man. That is...
Take your fire from inside.
Yeah.
Warm the darkness, hide the night.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, there's just certain songs that it evokes, back from, again, the 80s. When Jimmy Felber called me up and said, guess who's covering my song? And I said, what song and who are you talking about? He goes, Al Jarreau's covering Golden Girl. And I said, you need to call that your trust fund song. Because anything Mr. Jarreau touches is going to do well on that tune itself. On the song we just started out this second segment on, After All, give me the genesis of that song, Mr. Jarreau.
Well, I did a lot of very important work with the Jay Graydon in the middle 80s. And I met David Foster, and David and Jay and I had some wonderful things that we did together. We'll probably get to another one of the great ones that we wrote together. But After All was music that already existed almost in total, except for needing a lyric. Yeah. Except for needing a lyric. And I'm touched by the sound of stuff and what it says to me, and it might be just a phrase. There was a time I knew. The music said that. I mean, almost medieval, almost Camelot.
Right.
And so that's what I sought to write into the song, and it was just there and talked to me that way.
Do you? What was that song tracked at? What studio? Do you remember?
At Jay's house.
It was, yeah.
At Jay's house, yeah.
And back in the days with the 2-inch tape.
Oh yeah, all of that.
Yeah, man. I miss that. I miss that rewind, man. I'd actually screw up on tunes just to hear that rewind coming up.
Yeah.
Things have changed, man. But the passion of music hasn't. Was that song written for anybody in mind?
Well, always for Susan Elaine.
There you go, baby. There you go.
Yeah, always for her. I tell her every day, everybody ought to have a baby.
You dig?
Everybody ought to have a baby like you, someone to inspire them, and you learn love in that relationship. I wish everybody had a baby like Susan. Well, most people do.
Dig.
Have a sweetheart baby that is a very important thing in their lives, and you conduct your life around it and live for it and talk about it. I'm talking about her all the time.
Well, you have to, man, because they've been to hell and back with us.
That's right.
We're musicians, man,
exactly.
And we're not the easiest people to get along with.
Easy people to get along with.
We're temperamental. Like my wife said, if you have a good bowel movement, you want everybody to stop on the street corner and give you an applause for doing a good job, And damn it, yes, I do. And so, that's the whole basis of that. And stop and think about it, Al. Think about getting to a certain level when this song was recorded and then meeting kids and wondering if their mom and dad loved Al Jarreau. You got to stop and think about the timeline of how many children were conceived off of Mr. Jarreau's music.
Well, that does happen.
Of course.
That happens, and And I forget about that when I'm doing it.
Right,
That's
right.
not in the back of my mind. Romance and love surely is.
You dig.
And so I do hope people are using it for a wedding song.
Sure.
I do hope people have a favorite moment that comes back to mind. When they hear After All or other songs. I'm writing for that so that it touches deep inside and gives people a memory, evokes a feeling in them at the moment when they hear it that they can call up almost any time in their heads.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah, that the vibe with After All. Again, I said it on the top of the first hour. We talked about one of my favorite songs. Again, I'm going to keep coming back to what I love, what brought me through my life. Teach Me. One of the most beautiful, beautiful songs that Mr. Jarreau ever put to recording. And it's just all about the fact that I'm sure it's got 1,000 meanings to 1,000 different people about what that taught. And even though we're going to go off script here itself, tell me about Teach Me. What motivated you to write that song, since it's one of my favorite songs?
Well, David Sanborn and I are
Never heard of him.
Our friends, and we began at. There was some moment when we were sharing, talk about the Tender Trap in Iowa, where we both worked as we were students. I was a student at the University of Iowa.
Cool.
So was David. David a little bit behind me, a few years after me. But that's one of those songs from our growing up that stuck and made an impression on your heart. And very often you just find ways of repeating that and putting it in just a little different kind of way for people to hear today. And yeah, it's there.
Lionel Richie, another friend of mutual both of us itself, always said that he never gets tired of playing a song over and over again, because even though it's the same song, it's different because of the way the audience responds to that song. You know what I'm saying?
Jackie.
And that's the whole vibe about that.
That's the whole vibe about everything you do from stage, is that guy sitting out there who touches you at the moment and makes you sing the line a little differently.
Yeah.
Our lady in the green hat, hi, sweetie pie, oh my goodness, I got one for you coming now.
Yeah.
All of that's the brilliance and beauty of live and singing to an audience and having that kind of relation. Harrison Ford don't have that.
You still love that?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes. Do you still
Harrison
love
Ford doesn't have that, and neither does Brad Pitt. That relationship,
of course,
with a person 15 feet from them, and you sing together, and you laugh together, and you remember together, and you smile together, and you cry a little bit together.
Sure,
that's an amazing, wonderful contact that I just cherish. It gets me up, man. I'll be singing forever and ever for that feeling, that thing. That's why I don't stop, and a whole bunch of other people don't stop. Mick doesn't stop.
Trust me,
because he gets that feeling from the audience. It's rare.
And not looking into your pocketbook, but I'm going to say this right out front: you don't need to work anymore. Mick doesn't need to work anymore. Brian Wilson doesn't need to work anymore. They're working because that passion drives them. Mm-hmm. It's that situation where, to this day, I'll speak for myself. Before I walk on stage live, I've got the quintessential butterflies moving around, and I think when you lose those butterflies is when it's over. It's that until that first note, that first chord is struck, those butterflies are gone.
Well, I think it comes with the territory, and you accept it, and you welcome it, those butterflies, before going out there on the high wire. You're going out there on the high wire, and you start at the back, the nape of your neck, and you pull a zipper over the top of your head and down your nose and down the front of you. You grab both hands and open it up and say, "Hi, this is me."
Okay, I'm
on inside.
I'm going to close this one, and we're going to pick that up on this next segment. Coming out of 2 into 3, this is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, with the legendary Mr. Al Jarreau. Guys, don't go anywhere. We've got so much more to talk about. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely getting my boogie down. You guys, that has got to be one of the funkiest tunes. If you're not dancing and stomping your feet, well, I hope you're not when you're doing the drive, but it's amazing. Hey, man, that was penned, sung, killed by my in-studio guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back with open arms and open ears, Mr. Al Jarreau.
Oh, please say legendary.
Oh, legendary. Legendary Al Jarreau. Absolutely.
I did an interview in London with a DJ who was with the BBC, and in the first minute he must have said legendary Al Jarreau 15 times. I was rolling. legendary.
Well, how does that make you feel, though? Does that? I mean, it's the truth. I mean, you're
well. Oh, come on, Jack. You know how I feel about that. It's okay to say that. I do what I do, and I have an audience, and it's not a huge audience.
Right.
It's a limited audience. You know, I do some seats used to do some seats. You know, at the Greek Theater, and did pretty well there. But, you know, there's Stevie Wonder. I mean, there's Prince.
Right.
Those are legendary careers, you know, Michael Jackson. I have my little niche, and I'm cool with that.
You dig? You know, it's so funny because, again, one of my good friends, Michael White, was your drummer for years. Mm-hmm. And he would come off the gig and he'd say, I go, how was it, man? He goes, yeah, we just did Montreux, or we did the real Newport Jazz Festival. And there would be a shiny wheat field of faces out in that audience. He goes, and not one person was sitting down, especially doing Boogie Down. Let's talk about Boogie Down for a second. What was your motivation, the genesis behind that song?
Well, it's Michael O'Mardian.
Yeah.
And that lick that he played, I heard that, and my stuff just got jumping and going. And it wasn't long after hearing it the first time that the phrase jumped into my head: "Get my boogie down."
Yeah,
I can be what I want to, and all I need is to get my boogie down. Shoot.
Yeah, and you think about it, man. You know, and speaking of venue size wise, does Al have a preference? I mean, a 9,000 seat venue at the Greek Theater, or a 900 seat venue at a jazz club, or 500 seats, or maybe 40? What is your preference, or is it just singing? Doesn't matter.
It goes to this these days. Joe Turano, who's my music director and plays the second keyboard,
right.
sings background, plays tenor and soprano, like right there with the best.
Right.
He and I are back to are doing duo. The other night we played Ronnie Scott's. There were, 150 people at Ronnie Scott's, and we played in Montreux at the Montreux Jazz Festival, in their smaller club, the two of us again, and it's just an intimacy that only happens in that place where you can reach out and touch that person in the
right.
front row, smell their perfume, sweat on their blue suede shoes,
You dig?
and they can hear your heartbeat in the softness that you sing. Nothing like that. So I love the big situations, 18,000 seats over at Hollywood Bowl or someplace like that, and have an audience respond because you're finding a way to bring them in and make them part of the intimacy of After All. But there are all kinds of other situations, and whichever it is, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, you got to give it your all. And I got to tell you, and for the listeners out there, if you don't know the statistics, let me give you a couple of them here. Mr. Jarreau is a recipient of 6 Grammy Awards. 7.
7.
You're fired, guys. You're fired.
and see you in the personnel office.
Exactly. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. Nominated 12 times over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so again, I ask every entertainer this. Your first Grammy nomination to the 7th one, or their first win to the 7th win, same feeling? Are you getting that same joy of being recognized?
Well, of course. Of course.
And where are those awards?
When your colleagues, your fellow musicians and producers of music and writers of music, recognize what you've done, it's a marvelous thing. And so Grammys are that to me. Those guys who do music like me saying, "Good job, Al. Take this home."
Dig. Where are those awards? Is there a special room in the Jarreau household?
Well,
go ahead, brag, man.
It would be less special than you think. I don't know. It's not for me to display all of that stuff. It's right inside of me, Jackie. It's inside of me. You'd be surprised. It's a little cabinet. It's got a glass door that you can open. But there they are. Susan made the place for them, and I didn't ask her to do anything special with them. The feeling is in my heart. So yeah, I'm blessed, man.
And it's talking about everybody who's is always loved Al Jarreau, has respected Al Jarreau, put you up on the higher pedestal. But there's thousands of people that actually walked all over Al Jarreau. Let me qualify that. You know where I'm going to go with this. The Hollywood Walk of Fame that was given to you the honor of March 6th of 2001. On the corner, everybody out there, go walk on Al.
Go walk on
It's
Al.
on Hollywood Boulevard in La Brea. And I mean that's an honor right there.
They call me up and say, "I got you, Al."
I got you. And it's like, how did you feel that day when Johnny was out there giving you the that award?
I have trouble with all of that follow-the-rolls, except when somebody wants to acknowledge my work and all. But the work is the prize, Jackie. The work is the prize. Of
course.
It's in the doing it that I get the greatest satisfaction. If it happens to get an award, that's a wonderful thing. But I'm awarded every time I wake up in the morning with an idea for a lyric.
And I'm going to reward you right now because the person that's responsible for putting you and I together, second time around, she's on the phone right now. Oh. She's known as Miss Talaya Trigueros, the on-air personality on 94.7 The Wave in Los Angeles, Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock to 2 in the afternoon. Talaya, are you there, sweetheart?
Hi, you rascal, you. Now don't start telling stories, you.
It's kind of like, Mr. Jarreau, this is your life, right?
This is your life. Oh, that's wonderful. So how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Say it again, Talia.
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing great, honey. I'm doing music every day. I'm inspired every morning to do the music. I still have an audience. I just got back from Poland, sweetie. Yeah, got back from Poland and from Montreux and from London, you know, and I was just saying to Jackie here, you know, I don't have an audience of millions of people, but I have an audience who comes to hear me do this little crazy stuff that I do, and that's just fine.
Well, the thing is, you make music, and music inspires, and the word inspire means in spirit, so thank you.
Well, bless your heart for saying that to me, and wish me well, and say a little prayer for me.
So nice you're still making music. Great big hug to you. You know how much you are adored.
Well, thank you, honey. I hope so. Just as long as I have an audience of some people who want to hear me continue to do this while the years go by. There's always something to be said, so I don't go away. And I enjoy people. It's all right for people to watch me hobble on stage these days. I got some stuff that's called mutiny on the body.
But again,
it started with my hair and my eyes long time ago.
Well, your spirit is the strength.
Thank you, my love. I appreciate it so much, honey. We're going to get back to the crux of things here, but thank you for taking the time to call.
Yeah,
and,
thank you, Talia. I love you. God bless you, honey.
My pleasure. Love you too. Big hug.
Much love, girl.
Big hug.
Bye, baby. Everybody, that's Talia, man. That is a dear friend of mine since 1980. She's also the voice on my bumper music. So, you guys, we're going to roll out of segment 3, going into 4. It's blown by at rapid speed, Mr. Jarreau.
Okay.
So with that said, we're going to come back. You guys don't go anywhere. I've scratched the surface. I've got so much more to talk about. Again, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by the Intertalk Radio Network with Mr. Al Jarreau, the legendary Mr. Al Jarreau. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
samba at its finest. Everybody, mas que nada. And, but there's a lot. Let me tell you, there's more than nada going on here on Jackie's Groove. Everybody, Jackie's Groove, Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by the Intertalk Radio Network. Al, real quick, I wanted to say hi to my sponsors that keep this crazy ship afloat here. My dear friends of mine over at Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, but they just want you to play it loud. And SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals, I know you're hip to them.
Oh, I am.
SIR-USA.com for everything for backline, everything for rehearsal studios, and also people that I'm really biased to. I'm biased to Vader Drumsticks, who've been giving me my good wood in my hands for 19 years.
Wow.
And also to our newest sponsors, DW Drums, Drum Workshop at dwdrums.com. All my friends at John Good and Don Lombardi and Derek Zimmerman, everybody there, and also my company, LP Music, who's been giving me my backline for 27 years, my friend, doing the right thing, and also my dear friends of mine at Optimal Body Personal Fitness, David Lyons and Kendra Lyons, and Darren and Maria for keeping their brother Jackie in health and getting me back up on my feet, and we're going to be walking again. I promise you that. So with that said, let's talk about walking, brother, right now. Let's talk about samba. Everybody, please welcome back legendary, Mr. Al Jarreau. Al, welcome back, brother. Welcome back to Jackie's Groove.
Great, yeah. I got hit by that wave of Brazilian music. It changed my life, man.
Yeah, man.
It changed my life, and I began to want to. There was a period when I was just working with a guitar player. You mentioned a time when you saw me with a guitar player. That came after I had been doing lots of trio work. George Duke was kind of the culmination of the trio period in my life. You know, doing that stand-up singer with a trio. Well, the trio left. The job ended, and pretty soon there was just a guitar player with 5 strings, you know, and that began. And
yeah, man.
And all of those instruments that I do, my signature, you know.
Of course. Do it, brother. Yeah, man. So, and you and I, again, just being new friends, but being lovers of music, you and I, we shared a lot of our friends in common, musicians. We talked about Mr. Michael Paulo earlier, who's shared the stages with you, the huge stages. We talked about Mr. Duke and Mr. Clark and the many others. I'm going to bring somebody on right now, our mutual friend, one of my dearest friends that I've had the longevity of recording back with him back to the late 80s. He's currently on the drum throne for the past 27 years with the iconic rock band with horns, a group called Chicago. So with that said, Tris, are you there, my brother?
Tris.
I sure am.
Say hi to Mr. Jarreau.
Tris. I don't believe it. Well, I love you, man. What Jackie said, it's 27 years that
yeah, well,
that's amazing to me. I can't believe it. You and I worked together before 27 years ago.
I know. How can that be possible?
How can that be possible?
I know. How great to hear your voice. I've missed you
wonderful. How wonderful. Share this moment with you, Tris. It's so great. We had wonderful, beautiful times bringing music to people and helping them to smile and go home feeling better. Man.
Man, that was some of the happiest times of my life.
Tris, I want you to be a little bit jealous, Tris, right now, because we're sitting in a nice, cool home, in my personal home, with Mr. Jarreau. So be a little bit jealous right now, okay?
I am. I don't mind saying it. I will say it out loud. I haven't seen Al, Jackie, in so many years. In fact,
I know, Tris. Tris. But every time I run into you, kind of by chance here in the last 15 years, maybe 2 or 3 times, I'm just so touched by how vibrant you are. And I know it's the music, and I know it's love in your life, and that opportunity to share things with people and feel uplifted by this interaction with people. I know it. You're getting younger, man.
Oh man, I tell you, Alan, we are so blessed. And Jackie,
Hello.
we that get to do this. It's such a privilege to get to do what we do.
Yes.
And Al, you taught me so much about that. I mean, whether you know it or not, you, sir, are one of the finest human beings I have ever known in my life.
Oh, bless your heart, Tris.
You know, you really are, man.
Oh man.
I just
coming from you, one of the sweethearts of all creation.
Yeah, Al. You know, I was with Tris last Friday, with Chicago, and we were talking backstage after the show, and we were talking, and he heard me say, "Hey, I've got Al Jarreau coming up," and Tris stopped what he was doing, and he said, "Can I speak to Al?" And I said,
Wow.
"Brother, please." So we made the accommodations, being out of the studio in a mobile situation, to make sure that we got Mr. What's your last name? Imboden, dear friend of mine, with Mr. Jarreau. Now you're off on tour right now. You're off today, but you're taking off when? Let Al know.
Yes, well, we're taking off again on Tuesday.
Wow.
And we just finished a month, and we're getting ready to do another 5 weeks, and coming up here real soon. And we're busier than ever. And this
that's
band,
fantastic.
I think I'm so grateful for have gotten this gig with these incredible guys and this really iconic band.
Iconic, man. Iconic. Man, you really struck it rich there with those guys in terms of getting to play great music and be the continuation of what began so long ago with Chicago.
Exactly. And they're about to celebrate 50 years, Al.
50 years.
Band, 50 years, and have toured every year 50 years, that's got to be some kind of record.
That is some kind of record. It is.
God bless us all for being gainfully employed. Let me just tell you.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
It's good. Hey, Tris, brother, I love you again. I love you. Thank you so much for enlightening and making Mr. Jarreau's day.
Thanks, Tris. I love you, man. Go to the mirror, hug yourself.
Okay, all right. If you do the same for me,
I will. I'm hugging you over the phone. Phone hug. I love you, Tris.
Trissy, I love you, brother. Say hi to the boys for me. And
say hi.
And say goodbye to the legendary Mr. Al Jarreau.
The legendary.
Thanks, Tris.
Thank you.
Okay, Tris.
Godspeed, my brother. Godspeed.
Thank you. I love you.
So what do you think about that? This is your life, brother.
Yeah.
But it's your life because you've inspired so many of us players, you know. And I want to talk about something itself. You know, I know that your name is Alwyn. That was your born name, Alwyn Al Lopez.
Yeah,
Jarreau.
Alwyn. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know. Should we be calling you Dr. Jarreau?
No.
And the reason why I say that, because let me brag on you for a second here. Let me just tell you, back in 1991, you were given the honorary doctorate from the amazing and iconic Berklee School of Music. How did that feel?
Well, yeah, it's like I keep saying, and it's a form of what I said before. Berklee is a gang of colleagues, you know,
right.
Students, faculty, and surrounding community there in Boston that it just acknowledged me in my work and so no, don't call me doctor.
Let's call you Doctor. We'll call you Dr. Funkenstein. How's that?
It's in my heart. Yeah, you know. You do carry that stuff around.
Yeah, man. I mean, credit's given where credit's due, though, man. It was given to you for a reason. People recognized you, you know, for your amazing ways and what you've done. So you know what? Take it for what it is. He's waving at me. My producer's waving at me right now. You guys, believe it or not, we're getting out of segment number 4, 1 hour. With Mr. Al Jarreau. And you guys, how do you put 50 plus years of a career in a 2-hour interview? You know what? Damn it, we're going to do our best with that. So when we come back from this break, absolutely, we come back from this break, we're going to get a little more juice in our system here, reload ourselves, and we'll be back with the iconic, legendary singer, songwriter, performer, jazz vocalist extraordinaire, Mr. Al Jarreau. So you guys, with that said, don't go anywhere. I'm going to take a little bit of an elongated break because of the 4 to 5. But when we come back on segment number 5, we're going to pick up where we left off. Don't go anywhere. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, and Mr. Al Jarreau.
Thank you, Jackie.
Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Morning, Mr. Radio. Everybody's speaking of radio. We're back here. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove on the Intertalk Radio Network. You know what, Al? We are your music insider for years to come. Let me just tell you. And also, do yourselves a favor. Go on to iTunes, or either go on to iTunes or go on to Google Play for Android. Download our easy-to-use and navigate application. 2 words. Intertalk, the first word, second being radio. Take Jackie's Groove and the plethora of our shows on our network on the go with you. So that's what I ask you guys to do. Patronize this, if you will. And let's go back to talking about being patronizing here with Mr. Al Jarreau, sitting in my home studio, talking about his illustrious career. Al, welcome back. Morning, Mr. Radio.
Yeah, this is great. To get a chance to, sort of talk sort of at length.
Yeah.
About things and important moments and the inside scoop and feelings on what a guy's doing with his music.
Yeah, man. I love that video just for the fact it's probably one of the first videos ever that came up with animation before it was cool to be animated. And even though you were real life, you were talking to a box of Cheerios,
right? And a radio.
What a product placement. I hope you made some money on that one.
It still hasn't gotten placed. I don't. I still have hopes for it, but if they haven't found it by now.
Yeah, you dig?
If they haven't found it by now.
Hey,
right.
Al, let me ask this question. There's one thing I love about you and always everything about you, and it's also something that pissed me off about you, because sometimes you play percussion better than most percussionists that you've hired, and meaning the percussion with your mouth and not the physical part about actually hand to drum. Are you still doing that, man? Even though you're sitting down and you're more relaxed, are you still playing percussion on stage?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, I was on stage. I'm doing it here in your house.
You dig?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's. We were talking a little while ago about the effect of Brazilian music changing my life, and that was at the time at which I found all of this other stuff to do inside of the music, because it was just me and Julio.
Right.
And then it became me and Rich Dworsky, who is at Prairie Home Companion now.
Cool.
He's the music director there. And then Tom Canning, who did the first record with me, and the second record with the red sweater. So yes, I still am doing vocal percussive stuff on stage. It's my signature. People look for me to do that.
You
know.
See, and I wish you guys can see it, because right now he's playing an air bass, which is amazing, man. It's that funk and that groove. So let me. With that said, so when you're in the studio, now I don't want to sound naive, but do you read and write music?
No.
Okay, so when you're sitting down with the players that you've hired, or production has hired, how much of your thumb is down on the performance itself? It's your music, it's what you're putting out. If they're not giving you, and it's hard to believe that any of the people that you're hiring are the who's who of the studio cats, but are you not apprehensive to walk up to the drummer and say, you know what, I want to hear this, or the percussionist, I got to hear this, or I want you to walk that bass like this. Do you have a problem doing that at all?
No, I don't have a problem doing that. But there's something that's very important about collaboration.
Dig.
Sometimes people are bringing something that makes you different than you ever were before, and you need to stop and listen and see what that does to the music. That's such a very important part of working with other people,
right,
you know? And it's to feel the effect of what they bring to the music. Yeah. So you're right. If I absolutely need a certain kind of thing and it's not happening, I know how to ask for it. But at the same time, if I just be cool for a minute and hear what they're doing, it may make me do something that I never did before. And there you go.
Absolutely. And again, too, with your background, with the iconic and legendary ways about you, is Al Jarreau easy guy to get along with on stage?
Well,
that's a fair question.
I think so. You have to ask other people, but I think so, because I take a lot of that very same attitude with me onto stage, and I hire the people who sense who I am. So there's really not a lot of quarrel, a lot of disagreement about how we should do things, and still today. My band plays Morning Too Fast. They feel it in a different way than I do, and so I sing it there, and it's a great collaboration.
Now, when they're playing it too fast, I'm going to blame the drummer for that. That's always a situation.
Well, it's the drummer and the bass player.
Well, the old joke is, how there's a drummer at your front door?
Oh,
Dominoes. Okay, so that's the only joke I'm going to tell you right now. So my question to you is this. When the band is up and they're in that middle of that groove and you're doing it, even though you have a 90-minute or 2-minute show, you're into the groove with the band. You're into the groove with the song. Al's feeling it. He's really into it. He's looking at the audience. The audience is on their feet. They're doing this. Do you give the musicians in the band a chance to step away from what's written, to stretch? Or do you pretty much keep it all conducive into how it was rehearsed?
No, that's what it's all about in my band. It's feeling the improv nature of the music. Yeah, the songs are written in a certain kind of way,
right.
so that you got to play an E flat in the place where there's
right.
E flat and not something else. But quite quickly after that, it's about collaborating in this more improvisational way and bringing something new tonight that we didn't do last night. Very important, and people musicians in my band know this and look forward to it. Your solo, I'm getting out of the way.
Cool.
Yeah.
you know what's beautiful also too, Al, is like you being the front man. This is your gig. This is your vibe. This is your living. But you know of the quality of players that grace the stage with you. Isn't it good when you're in a gig and there's certain performances that are just right? What's tight is right. Where you forget the audience for a quick second and you're having this celebration with the musicians on stage where you're looking at each other in their eyes and going, you killed that. You killed that. Or call it an aha moment. That still happens to you, doesn't it, on a regular basis?
Yeah, it still happens to me on a regular basis, but it so often is the audience is part of that energy. And so even though we're sharing on stage and acknowledging this very special thing that's going on with us on stage, it is also the audience. Singing, we're in this love together. It's church at that moment.
Absolutely.
It's church.
Isn't it?
It's better than church because you can move your feet and shake your feet.
And there's no judgment. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing about that, and when you have the longevity, when you have these iconic songs that we basically can sleep with and wake up in the morning with, and that brought us through the crap in our lives, whatever it may be, that evoked the emotion that it saved you, whatever time of the life that you heard that music that brought you through the dredges.
I hope so.
But the beautiful thing about that is when Al is singing to the audience, and it could be Al, it could be Michael McDonald, it could be Mick Jagger, the ability for you to stop singing and listen to that audience, an audience of 1,000, audience of 10,000, audience of 20,000, when they're singing not only word for word, but they're actually singing it the way it was recorded. The influx of their voice, the intonation of their voices. How does that not make you shed a tear? I mean, to know that you know what I'm saying?
You shed tears. You do shed tears. I mean, the other night, I went home after a gig, laying on the bed, just sobbing and thanking God for this opportunity to be with people and to feel such joy and fulfillment.
Dig.
Oh, man. Laying on the bed crying like a baby.
Let's talk about other things when we come back on segment number 6. It's blowing away, brother. I got to ask you a question. I want to talk about Susan when we get a chance, if we can.
Okay.
And the married woman that puts up with Al Jarreau. So with that said, guys, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, Intertalk Radio with Mr. Al Jarreau. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're coming up on 6. Say goodbye to Al. There you go. Don't go anywhere.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Berries on the wine, it gets sweeter all the time. Let me tell you what's getting sweeter. Al and I were just talking. Hey, guys, so if you didn't forget who this is Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove, sitting with the legendary Mr. Al Jarreau. Al and I were talking on the break right there. We're talking about, the accolades that we receive. Now, I'm a hired grunt. I'm a musician. I'm a sideman. But it doesn't matter who it is. As I said to Al, and Al knows this, and for those listeners out there, not everybody going to an Al Jarreau concert is going to go just see Al Jarreau. They've got their favorite musicians in the band that they're looking. They could be a guitar player, keyboard player, drummer, whatever it may be, that's going to drive them to see that show. And then when we walk around, and forgive me for being blatant, but in this industry, people spend too much time with their noses up our rear ends. Mm-hmm. It's I don't like that personally. I like to take myself to my own gig. I do love my techs because I don't want to set my gear up. That's one thing I hate. Mm-hmm. I did enough of it in my life growing up. But the thing is, in that song we just came out, We're in This Love Together. Now, as I said, I'm going on 33 years in November to my bride of wedded bliss, screaming arguments, being married to an Italian. She doesn't put up with my crap, Al. And the fact is, now you're going on how many years with your bride, Susan? How many years you've been married now?
40.
Okay, so with that said, and I was telling Alan, we're cracking up on this break, we could be who we think we are and who people pay to see and so on. But Al disqualified. The fact is, when he walks through that door, he's no longer Al Jarreau. He's Hey You. You dig? And that's and so on. So with that,
almost.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question: your son Ryan.
Yeah.
Is he in the business?
No.
Okay. Does he get what Dad does after all these years?
Slowly.
Okay.
He's getting there. He's 32 years old.
Yeah, man.
He's slowly getting there. Oh no, he has a pretty good sense of what it is that I do and how I feel about it, and but he can't carry a tune in a wheelbarrow.
It's okay.
It is okay.
But and it's funny because all my family and friends, they know who Jackie is. They know what I do. They know who I'm related to and who I'm associated with. But my number one fan is not my wife. You would think that would be my number one fan. My number one fan is sitting in the other room right now, the kitchen. My mother-in-law, Pravi. Wow. She is my wherewithal. She doesn't have no idea what the internet is. She calls it the WW. But the fact of the matter, if there's something out there with relation to people that I work with, hey, Jackie, guess who's coming to town, and so on and so forth, she will tell the wait staff at a restaurant, this is my son-in-law, Jackie. He's got a radio show. He also works with the Beach Boys and Michael McDonald, this, that. Mom, they don't give a shit, Mom. They really don't. But you know what? She does. And so the fact of the matter is, that is when I need smoke blown up my ass.
Remind me never to go to dinner.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to be thankful with that. And with that whole vibe about being Al Jarreau. Al, let's go back for a second because you've been in this industry long enough. We're on stage. There's a thing that we've always known, which is called wedges. That's the big black boxes that sit in front of us. So we, as the percussionist, drummer, keyboard player, lead vocalist, can hear yourself, the ambiance on the stage.
Yeah.
Does Al prefer a wedge still, or are you in-ear monitors?
Well, I've been drugged to in-ear.
Right.
I've been drugged kicking and screaming. But... we were talking about mutiny on the body, and my ears are not the same.
What?
So that when I'm not when I'm just natural and don't have in ears, I can't hear a lot of things the way I need to hear them.
Right.
So kicking and screaming, I'm getting used to the in ear situation, but it's a little strange, because I miss we're able to add some audience so that I can feel the audience out there, but it's still a little unlike the real thing.
Now, what is not in your mix? What do you not want to hear in your mix on stage?
Oh, I have to hear everything.
You have to.
Yeah, I want to hear everything. I don't eliminate anything. Do you?
Yeah, I do, actually. I eliminate the drums.
Aha, well, that makes sense.
Just for the fact of the matter is I've got all my congas in front of me and so on, but I also have a rack of percussion toys that are all being mic'd immensely with condenser microphones. So you want to make sure you're heard by everything else. So especially in a venue that I'm close enough to the drummer, I don't need to hear that. I want to hear the vocalist. Just like when I'm in the studio, when a artist sends me the tune, I will always request they put down a scratch vocal. Not because I'm any type of an egomaniac, because I just don't want to step on their vocals. I don't want to step on anything else, and that's why it comes back of not being considered a busy player. So with that said about being a busy player and people that are brought to you, when Al goes into the studio, is Al have the wherewithal or the final word? And believe it or not, folks, not necessarily because you're the star that you have the final word. You have the labels. Are the musicians on that album your choice or the choice of the producer?
No, typically there's an agreement on. Very often it's new material,
right?
And so we go. I want my guy on this, and sometimes the producer will say, "Fine, great, well, what about on that song? My guy too." And what about that? Well, and the producer will say, well, I really would like JR, or whoever, or Tris or somebody.
Right.
Tris hasn't played in the studio with me, but you get the idea.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, the producer, very important to the project. I depend on him to hear things that I don't hear and help me make the music live in just a little different way. Let me give you an example. Jay Graydon and I came together in 1984-ish, 83, 84. Up until then, I was everybody's little jazz singer. Okay?
Right.
And that was wonderful. But Jay heard something in me that was crossover. And I knew there was something in me that was crossover before I worked with Jay.
Elaborate.
I was not pushing that.
Elaborate crossover for the listeners.
That means I could sing a pop tune, that I could sing an R&B song,
right.
that it was all inside of me. Al, you just get in the setting and don't turn everything into jazz's greatest hits.
Okay.
Just sing the R&B song like a good R&B singer. Well, Boogie Down was, but I had to go to little beauty. So I had my little jazz moment in there.
Right.
But I can hear those encouragements of Jay any day. That Al, here's one from Jeremy Lubbock, from South Africa, and just sing it like a simple ballad, and I did, and I think I found an audience that I wouldn't have found, and that audience found who didn't know anything about Brubeck or Chick Corea, found Chick Corea or Brubeck because I also was this jazz singer,
right.
But now I was singing "We're in This Love Together" and other pop stuff.
I want to tell you also too. It's become a very good friend of ours in the network. I got a text from him last night. This guitar player, his name is Al Di Meola. And Al, we just followed Al on his current tour, the 2016 Liquor Tour called The Elegant Gypsy Meets the Romantic Warrior. When he found out you were doing the show, man, he said, please tell him I give him much respect. Much respect, because he said, I've always played the guitar to a song like Al sings to the song.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was very, very cool. That's when you know you've done right. It's great to have the Grammys. It's great to have this. But when you have a yo-cat, a musician that is truly inspired by your playing, that's what it's all about.
That's an amazing moment.
And the cool thing about this, Al, too, which is really, really cool, we talk about, being the Yo Cats, like J.R. Robinson. We decided J.R. is a dear friend of mine, most recorded drummer in the history of
Probably.
music. But the most easygoing cats that you'll ever meet in your life.
And you hear the music.
Absolutely.
You hear the music. It's so relaxed.
And people don't understand. They'll say, to me, you have a producer in Chicago by the name of Joe Thomas, who's famous for Brian Wilson and Henry Capono and Fleetwood Mac and so on. And there's a plethora of percussionists out in Chicago, New York. How come they're hiring this guy, Jackie Bertoni from Winchester, California? And I'll tell you why. It's not just because I come with a name, but the producer knows he's going to get exactly what he's looking for without having to be on the phone, especially being a home studio, being in Pro Tools, that he doesn't have to sit there with his finger pointing at me. I give them more in the way of percussion than they've asked for. That bringing by. Now, of course, when I do a session, I can do an album of 12 songs. I can do that in 2 days once I start. And a young guy said to me, if you're being paid by the hour, why are you rushing through it so quickly? I'll pick that up on the next segment itself because my producer's waving at me with 10 fingers, not one. So the bottom line is when we come back, let's talk about studio back then. Let's talk about studio today. So when we come back, it's Jackie Bertoni on segment number 7 out of 8 with the legendary Mr. Al Jarreau. Don't go anywhere, guys. Look, stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
We got by, baby. We got by on a regular basis. Everybody, this is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, segment number 7 out of 8. We've almost gone by 2 hours, man, and there's 1,000 more things to ask. We're having a great time in between the breaks here because we're talking about things, but Mr. Jarreau and I were just talking about the fact about when I'm hired as a sideman, as a studio cat, and we're playing, and some young guy had asked me not too long ago, he said, Jackie, if you're being paid by the hour, scale, double scale, triple scale, it all depends. If it's a fledgling artist, I cut him a great deal. We all started. We have to pay it forward. But if it's a major label, they're going to pay, and they have no problem paying. But he asked me the question. He says, okay, you did 12 songs in 2 days. Why wouldn't you take the 12 songs and move it into 4 days and get that extra money? I said, you know why? Because I wouldn't be sitting here today with this producer on the 15th album with this guy. Because he knows I'm not here to waste his time, to steal his money.
Hello.
You know, Mama told me years ago that be thankful for what you got. And you'll realize that you've got the best is when you can start giving back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, and I'm sitting here right now with Al Jarreau. I'm blown away, man. I mean, I'm literally blown away. Somebody had asked me, good friends of mine had asked me, my wife said this morning, why are you nervous, Jackie? Because I can talk to a rock and make the rock laugh. But the fact of the matter is, you know, she said, you can hang and chop it up at the best with Brian Wilson, with Al Di Meola, with Michael McDonald. But these guys have all been friends of mine for 25, 30 years. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting down with somebody right now and I'm looking at an album cover, and I'm honored and I thank you and the network thanks you and my mama above thanks you. And Al and I were talking during the break, we said about we're losing too many people around us and not people that have spent and had beautiful lives that are in their late 70s, their early 80s, their 90s to 100. Then you can feel sorry for them that they've passed, but they lived the life. It's the young ones that pass. We're not talking about babies and adolescents. We're talking about the princes.
Yeah.
We're talking about my friend Mick Gillette, trumpet player from Tower of Power. We're talking about people, Glenn Fry. Irregardless if it's the the misuse of drugs, the abuse of drugs. It's scary. And the only way I can smile by saying this is that the band in heaven must be a motherfucker. And as I said to Al on the break, I hope they're not looking for a 76-year-old jazz singer and a percussionist anytime soon because I'm out. I'll go kicking and screaming. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, we have a lot to be thankful for, my friend. We have a lot to be thankful for.
That is exactly right. We have a lot to be thankful for. That we didn't get into the kind of trouble that it is so easy to get into that cuts your time short. I smoked too much, not anymore. I drank too much, not anymore. And I'm so thankful that the little voice inside my head said, "Time to chill it, time to be cool. You got some things to say." Over a longer period of time that people need to hear.
Right. What is it that Al Jarreau can tell a young artist how to keep their nose clean, how to keep their laser sights on their passion of music, how not to be down on themselves if the doors have closed? And there'll be many more doors that close than there will be ones that open. Yeah. God knows you had enough slammed in your face growing up, and probably still to this day.
It's the love for the music that's going to be the hard drive for any new and young musician. Taylor
Swift.
Yes, he's having a serious discussion with someone who has found the magic little wand to intercept her music, and they take the money, and she doesn't get it. And I wish that story was bigger because she's one of us who is right at the top of the game, who's recognizing that it's not okay that you can press a button and have a Cadillac for free.
Well, here's a little vibe.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you 100% because the brother that wrote the Meghan Trainor song called "It's All About the Bass," that song was streamed over 3 million times. You know how much money that man made from that stream?
I don't know.
$5,200.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So it's going to take. It takes a lot of love these days, and the music has been the spoiled brat of all the arts. Dancers, poets, sculptors, and have not had the kind of fortunes made by people in their business as musicians have. So it might be that we need to get back to loving it first. Do it because you love it. Open the guitar box and play on the street corner. Play for free. Hey, that might have to be the story, is that we play for free, and we play for less than we used to play. I'm there.
Well, and not everybody is as fortunate to be. I used the term before being the one-hit wonder, but people don't understand. You could be a one-hit wonder and have tens of millions of dollars in your bank account because of that one hit.
Yes.
I should be so lucky. I have a friend of mine we've lost. His name is Larry.
I should be so lucky.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine, mutual friend. We've lost him a few years ago. His name is Larry Henley. Wrote a small song called Wind Beneath My Wings. Mm-hmm. And it was brought to Miss Midler.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to record it because she wasn't going to own the song. And he said, you know what, put it back in the vault. It's not for sale. 2 weeks later, she came back and flew back into Nashville. His partner says she wants to record the song, a song that she's never done. She owns the music before she records it. She's not a stupid woman. She's a smart woman. He maintained the ownership of the song, the publishing, the writing, and so on. I asked Larry when we were in Hawaii together. He asked me how much I was being paid on a gig for Henry Capono and Michael McDonald as a percussionist. I shared with that. Plus, I told him I had a week at the Ritz-Carlton in Kapalua. Everything was gratis. It was paid for. Now, as the evening progressed, and he was probably into his seventh gin and tonic, I leaned over the van where he was passed out in this van for the hotel, and I said, Larry, you can answer the question if you want to or not. How much money did you make on Wind Beneath My Wings? And he looked at me in a drunken stupor, but he looked at me as a sober man and said, you know what, Jackie, I don't know. But what I can tell you is I make a little shy of $1 million a year just on the sheet music. Okay, so, but not everybody is that fortunate.
Right, that's amazing.
And again, that's the part about being spoiled. But as we get into our older years, it's tough to make a living. We don't want to be 56 years old or 76 years old because there's no such thing as album sales anymore. We've got to get that back. We've got to get back to what it was again.
Well, I think I hope so, and I keep trying to talk it into existence and think it into existence, Jackie, because we're gonna come to a time when it's hard to interest the young potential next Stevie or next Aretha in or Jocko, because there's no possibility of sustaining yourself. You got to work 3 or 4 gigs in order to do your passion and do your music. Hard to interest kids in that. So I'm trying to wish it back into existence, but it may just well be that it's going to be only the people who love it and who would do it for free, or they would die if they couldn't.
Right. When you walk on the stage at 76 years of age, do you find yourself walking up as a 30-year-old man still? That love that you had back then, have you rekindled that love? Has that love ever left you?
I mean, for the music
and the audience? For the music and the audience.
Yeah, it's grown. It has grown, my love for it, I think if for no other reason than you are a little older and you move a little slower, the fact that it is your love for it is still there, and there's still some people who want to share that with you. It's bigger than it's ever been. This feeling for the music, this cardiology.
Dig.
We're in cardiology.
You know what I'm saying? I feel you, man, all the way around. It's that benefit. It's that blessing to. I remember growing up in this industry. I remember perusing and carousing to all hours of the night and stuff. And not really paying attention before I walked on stage. Uh-huh. And with that said, Paul, how are we doing on time wise on this segment, Paul?
We got like half a minute.
Okay, I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to talk about preparation before a gig. Okay, because that's really important, because in our advanced ages, what we do now to accommodate what we need to do versus what we did and how we abused ourselves, if in fact we ever did abuse ourselves. Probably what we're doing now is abusing ourselves. So, but that's we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about it. Then I also want to talk about, for everybody that you inspired, I want to find out who inspired you. Good. So with that said, guys, we're going out of 7 into 8. Last segment with my in-studio guest, Mr. Al Jarreau. Legendary Al Jarreau. Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove. Don't go anywhere. One more segment. Stand by.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Populated by dogs and clowns and a prince and a big purple bird.
Everybody, welcome back to Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni, part of the Intertalk Radio Network. You guys, we're proud to do what we do. We are the leader in the industry. We're growing by leaps and bounds, and the reason for that is for the type of entertainment, the type of superstars. And I'm going to use the word superstar because right now, and I want everybody to be jealous right now, because not only do you just hear this beautiful voice, this piano and vocal little ensemble that you just heard coming on, but what makes me different than you, and I'm saying this with tongue-in-cheek and a smile on my face, I'm looking across my living room, and the man that lent that voice is sitting right next to me. He won't let me feed him, though, and that's sacrilegious for being an Italian. So it must be a black on Italian thing. I don't know what's going on here. You know, Italian and Black Lives Matter, my friend. In fact, when I walk into a Starbucks, when they ask my name, I tell them Italian Lives Matter. So when they yell out my order, everybody applauds. So that's like, all right, I just made that up. Okay. But nonetheless, hey guys.
You are so sick.
Yeah, I know. Hey, welcome back to the final segment, you guys. We couldn't be more blessed to have, not only in the studio, but in my home with Mr. Al Jarreau. Al, you know what? I'm thankful beyond words. I owe you everything, and what can I say? We thank you.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. We've gotten a chance to really share some thoughts and ideas and feelings, and with those folks out there, you know, who make it possible, you know.
Yeah, you know, and as I'm going to bring on I'm the CEO of the corporation, and Mr. Florentino Buenaventura. Little shtick that we do. We got a little bit of business, so. You know, Al, I'd like you to say hi to Florentino. Florentino, say hi to Al, please.
Florentino.
Hey, Al.
Yeah.
Good. Long time no see, right? You know what? Before we got to jump into the promotion business, I have a little Al story. One of the things I learned about you in an interview with Freddie Ravel, if I think it was Freddie, that you like to save if I'm not mistaken, your set list. So that when you go back to the same place, you change it up so that the audience gets something different. Mm. That to me was amazing because that told me something about your heart. It said that you were not willing to settle for anything less than the best for your audience. And that's an amazing testament that all the young listeners should recognize when they're here. Because to me, that's what this is all about. Like you said earlier on, it's all about giving back. It's about reaching that one person. That one time you change that melody for that one person. So at that moment in time, it's similar, but it was made for that person or a bigger audience. So, kudos to you, sir.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, and I can hug Freddie and give him a kiss for acknowledging that part of my process and procedure. Yeah, and I like referring to what I did last time. I was just talking to Joe Toronto, and yesterday he's my music director, plays second keyboards, horn, saxophone, does solos with me down front about what do we do this time that's different than the last time we were here, and we've come up with it.
Well, that was my personal experience that I heard, and that part of it resonated really well with me. And as things resonate, we want the listening audience to be able to experience more Al Jarreau. We've got a great audience, young, old, listen to hip hop, that listen to jazz. It doesn't matter. How can they know more about this man who's really defined this business along with some other contemporaries that you've worked with? How can they find out about you? What are some of your what's your website?
Well, aljarreau.com, and I write a little letter about every gig there.
Cool. Oh,
and
that's awesome.
people get back to me even if they weren't at the gig. In fact, mostly people who weren't, and who comment about you said something about so and so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm Al Jarreau. I follow your page as well. So we have Al Jarreau. So just go find it on Facebook.
Right.
Just type in Al Jarreau. There's no other. There is no other.
And there's another media page that I have. I see. I don't know anything about that stuff. But when we get through, you talk to Brian, and he can help you with that, and
we'll put
Joe Gordon too.
We'll definitely put them on the show page so that everyone can go on there, listen to the archive of the interview, experience all that is Al Jarreau.
Right. And Tino, thank you, Ben. And Al, I wanted to ask you a question too. As I said before on the break, you've inspired the multitudes of people out there. But the big question I have to ask, that's kind of burning myself, who inspires you? Who inspires you?
Oh, my dad was a great singer.
Right.
My older brother was a great singer. A foggy day in London town. I can hear him singing that. I was 7 or 8 years old. Nat Cole, Nancy Wilson, Johnny Mathis, John Hendricks, Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, Bill Evans, all of these people. Eric Satie, my goodness.
Dig it.
Dvorak, Bach.
Do you get today's music?
Do I?
Do you get today's music?
Yeah, and I don't study it. In fact, I haven't been really a studier of music like I should have been. It's just my fault. I get so involved in my own head in what I'm doing that I should be more knowledgeable and have a greater sense of what's going on in today's music. It's important. Every generation has their music and their sound and all. But honestly, I'm from a different era and a different period, and I struggle to get it. I know there's things being said today on a stage that's getting studied at Harvard University in poetry class. Getting studied. Those comments about urban life and what's going on with guns in the neighborhood and drugs in the neighborhood. But it's not what I do.
Forgive me for being blatant, and you're not missing much. You're really not missing much, because that's why the old music is coming back. That's why people are starting to respect that. They're finally getting it. I don't get the music. I don't even like to use the word music. It makes no sense to me. That's my soapbox, and it's because of people like you that allows us to go back and to live our years growing up. Good music is timeless. It never gets old.
I think so too.
It never gets old.
I think so too.
And we're eternally grateful. I thank you immensely. I listen to your music, and I listen to it as a percussionist. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I would love to play this. Just something as simple as a tambourine. The best percussionist in the world can take a tambourine, a cowbell, a cabasa, and a shaker, and mess it up on the good tip. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. It's what do we say? Paul, are we rounding this off? We got 2 more minutes. Wow, we got a lot of time to talk about itself. So, with that said, I'm going to ask you this question. That crystal ball that's sitting in front of you right now, that I'm going to spray some Windex on it for you. What you feeling about the music business? Give me 60 seconds of what you feel the music business is, where it's at, where it's going. What is that?
I'm a little nervous. I think that you and I have to work harder, Jackie, and to continue to put in front of people a description of heart and feeling that's
right.
in the music, and hope they get it and see it. And I think that there's going to be some who get it and lots who don't get it and don't miss it. Pave paradise and put up a parking lot.
Dig it.
And so there's maybe the audience is going to be a little smaller as it has forever and ever and years for fine music that is above the belt,
right?
Above the belt, in the heartline, sometimes above the shoulders. I like music that is above the shoulders. I'll shake your money maker too. But man, there's some stuff that needs to be said that's above the shoulders.
Yeah, man.
Pro survival things. How to be happy.
You guys, you know what? I can go another 5 hours with this man.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, but unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah.
So with that said, everybody else, we are internally thankful, my friend. This is, of all the interviews I've done, 30 so far, this trumps every one of them, brother. Every one of them. So with that said, you guys, I just want, can we get a round of applause there for Mr. Jarreau, everybody? Yeah, brother, thank you so much. We'll keep you in the loop of what's going on. We'll send this to you.
Yeah.
I thank you from the bottom of our heart. The Bertoni family thanks you. The Intertalk Radio Network family thanks you. Jackie's Groove thanks you. And Jackie Bertoni thanks you personally. Everybody, stay tuned for great shows coming up. And again, thank you, Mr. Al Jarreau, the legendary Al Jarreau. And guys,
so
remember, tomorrow, Thorn Winery, the 16th of July. Don't miss it. God bless everybody. Peace through music. Mr. Jarreau, bless you.
God bless you.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy Award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.